Okay, thank you, Mahmoud, for your personal story, and I sure hope that you're going to stay with the Voice of America. Taking this to a political level, coming to the end shortly of our discussion. In 10 days' time, we have the UN meeting, which will be attended by Mr. Ahmadinejad, during which he will probably meet with Mr. President Barack Obama. And I would like to ask, this is an open question actually, for your thoughts about the United States President's stance on Iran. Mr. Obama has been quite cautious in addressing the election fraud and the regime's crackdown on the opposition in June. Is this being cautious and this trying to engage Iran in diplomacy, is this the right way for the leaders of the world to be speaking to Iran? Has this, according to you, does it have any chance of succeeding? And I would actually like to ask you maybe to start to answer this question. What is the EU's stance on that, and do you share Mr. Obama's views on how to enact, and act with Iran?
Thank you. I have to confess that I haven't heard any discussions in European Parliament as far as we are there, newly elected, and as far as the situation. Yes. And, well, I would like to turn this, my thesis, I have to confess that I prepared completely different from what I'm going to say now. And I'm really impressed of this meeting. And I have to confess that I wasn't so deep in this question because, well, every day we hear something from different parts of the world that something is wrong with human rights and especially with women's rights. But when you don't hear the live witnessing, it's somehow a bit harder to understand everything. So I'm very thankful that there is opportunity to be here for all of us and to share this experience and to hear the experience of these women that has suffered so much and still suffering there. And I think the most important thing is information, and information for our society. Maybe we are talking all the time about this, and it's nothing new, but still, if having possibility to meet these women from Iran or from other parts of the world where they are suffering, I think, well, these stories are really touching, and if society would let this information through its heart, I think to solve problems and to show our solidarity and support would be much more easier. And Lithuania, as having a possibility to have a chairmanship for Community of Democracies in this term, support, primarily see this organization as support for democracy, and our aim is to involve as many governments into these processes as possible, as not only governments but also representatives from academic field and civil society and from all regions from the world to unite and to try to give this message for the whole world. And talking about the democracy and support of democracy in Lithuania, I would like to mention our former president, Mr. Valdas Adamkus, who actively participated in, well, I could say in Lithuanians' neighborhood, talking about Belarus and Georgia and Ukraine, supporting their wish to become democratic countries. And talking again about European Parliament, I would like to mention at least, well, more or less, these decisions that are made are not, they do not have a very strong legal, how to say, power, but anyway to express their opinion through resolutions that are made on Tibet, on Iran, in the previous years, on Africa. I think it is important, and that has to be continuing. And I think that in my political group that I represent, I would like to raise these questions and to get involved people to these processes. And
okay, I'm sorry, I have to intervene because We're really running out of time, and I'm really counting on you to raise this issue in the European Parliament. I would like to hear from Mary Lawler about the political, climate that we have to shape. Maybe you could say a couple of words about that, exactly the stance that our governments should take towards Iran. Should we try to engage diplomatically, or is that a road to nowhere?
I'm going to speak on a slightly wider context because our work is to protect human rights defenders at risk all over the world. We have about 2,000 people at risk from over 135 countries, and we try and offer them 24-hour support. Women, of course, are half of our human rights defenders, and we put our work, our starting point is that women face risks that are specific to their gender and additional to those faced by men, and it's particularly true when they defy cultural, religious or social norms about femininity or the role of women in particular society. And our ethos in Frontline is that if we protect those extraordinarily brave women human rights defenders that we see around here and try and support them, then they in turn will empower their fellow civilians, fellow women, to claim their rights, and that is sort of the ethos of Frontline. Now, how we do it the way women have told us what they tell us what they want, and we try and do it. And it's amazing, we're talking about Iran, but the story is the same all over the world. The kind of things that women want all over the world is, first of all, research, who they are, what risks they face. Are they economic, social and cultural rights? Are they civil and political rights? Where does it fit in society? And for example, we had a mission to Iran in August, just when the election was being challenged for 9 days. The second thing we do is we do an awful lot of lobbying. We lobby extensively. We have a lobbying office in Brussels. And we follow the European Commission, the European Union extensively. We look for those entry points that we can, depending on which human rights defender, what country it is, and try and lobby. So that's very sophisticated. It is relentless. We also send, whenever we do an appeal, we send it to the UN. We have an intern in the Office of the Special Rapporteur on Human Rights Defenders. And if it's in the Americas, we send it to the Inter-American Commission. If it's a Council of Europe country. So we cover every possible intergovernmental institution that is possible where there is somebody at risk. And we find, and so we encourage very much also urgent appeals by governments, and this is something the Polish government could maybe do as well. For example, the Irish and the British and the Dutch, they have urgent structure set up in their ministries to take urgent action when people are in extreme danger. Third thing we do is capacity building in personal security and risk assessment, how to manage the risks you face and how to increase your capacity and decrease your vulnerability. And the fourth thing is digital security, and we have somebody in Iran who we have set up a proxy. We have somebody in Iran who is training in Farsi in how to protect and store information and send it securely. We also are we're also just translating into Farsi at the moment this thing we have called Security in a Box, which is essentially teaches people how to store information safely.